Good evening. Thanks for joining us tonight. Albertans can now make bookings to get the updated COVID and flu shots with appointments starting Monday. Doctors in the province say that with cases on the rise, this is a good time to roll up your sleeve. Jennifer Lee reports.
We're having a rise in.
New data from the province is showing that 168 people died from drug poisonings in Alberta just in July. July's data is the latest available and marks the 6th month in a row when the death toll topped 160. There were 45 more deaths this past July than in July of 2022. Opioids account for nearly all of the drug poisonings in Alberta. The province is investing in and expanding childcare spaces. The government is allocating federal funding from the Early Learning and Childcare Agreement to private childcare providers. $28 million will go to the providers to create more than 22,000 new spaces for children. The government is expanding its space creation grant for these new spots. This funding will go to high-need and high-demand communities across Alberta.
The grant here really is focused.
Well, Israel is stepping up airstrikes in Gaza on day 4 of its conflict with Hamas. It's in retaliation for a surprise attack by militants on Saturday. The multi-pronged assault marked the single deadliest day ever for Israel. CBC's Paul Hunter is part of the CBC News team on the ground in the region. He has this report from Jerusalem and a warning. Some of the images and descriptions in this item will be disturbing for some viewers.
It has been another day of relentless air.
The conflict is also impacting air travel. Major air carriers around the world have stopped or cut back flights in and out of Israel, leaving thousands of tourists stranded in the country. While Canada has not announced any repatriation plans, some governments like Austria are sending military planes to collect citizens.
It's an unfortunate situation.
To Saskatchewan now, where Premier Scott Moe and his government have now served official notice in the legislature. They'll invoke the notwithstanding clause to keep their controversial pronoun policy in schools. MLAs were called back to the legislature 2 weeks early for a special sitting, and they weren't the only ones to show up.
Make school safe! Make school safe!
BC has become the first province to sign a new health care deal with the federal government. It includes more than $1 billion in extra funding. But as Mira Baines reports, smaller communities are hoping for more help as they face ongoing ER closures.
It's official. BC's bilateral.
Canada has been luring nurses away from the Philippines for years. The pay hike is hard to resist, but it's taking a toll on the healthcare system there. Stephanie Dubois went to the island nation to learn more. Here she is to break down how hospital staff and patients are being left in the lurch. There's been a noticeable change in how visitors to Banff National Park are getting around. More and more of them are using regional transit rather than driving their own vehicles and clogging up the town's roads. Helen Pike has more.
For years, the message.
And that's it for us. Thank you so much for joining us. We leave you now with pictures of the gigantic gourds from the Smoky Lake Pumpkin Fair over the weekend. Contestants carted these in from around the province to see who grew the biggest one. And you know what? They look pretty heavy. Have a great night.